Transformers 96 here is another video review. This time we have the Marvel Infinite series, Marvel's Death's Head. So here you are. So going over the package really fast. Like I said, every time I do a review of this series, I like the old Marvel Universe packaging a lot better than this. But that being said, it is still a nice, kind of simple yet elegant type of packaging. But would definitely prefer the old style of packaging. So yeah, as you can see, you got the figure right there. You got a little description. I read the description hoping that it would kind of let me know a little bit more about this character. And it does. He's kind of a mercenary. He's just looking for his next contract, as it says. But it didn't say anything about where he fits into, like if he's a villain most of the time for the Avengers, or if he's usually a Guardians of the Galaxy character, anything like that. So I have no idea like what his comic series is, or maybe he's just like one of those very small comic series and he's like the main character. I don't know. So I really don't know anything about this guy. He's a very obscure character, I believe. So yeah, this wave is pretty lacking. I like the first wave. I really like the third wave. This wave is kind of the dud wave for me for the most part. There's 3 repackaged characters that came out in the Marvel Universe line. I have all 3 of them, and then they did 4 new ones. This Thor is just really like a new head sculpt. There might be a couple new things, but nothing too special, so I passed on him. We've got the Red She-Hulk, which is a repaint of the regular She-Hulk, and I have the regular one, so I really didn't have any need for that one, so I passed on that one. Whirlwind is looks really good to me. I'm excited to get him. I just don't have him yet, and obviously I have Death's Head. So yeah, it's an odd name for this guy too. I can't say I like the name either. There's nothing too special about that. But yeah, overall figure-wise, he looks really awesome. Regardless of who the character is or anything like that, the figure himself just looks really interesting. I mean, this is definitely going to be an eye-catcher. When you see this in store, you're going to be like, wow, because there's some bright colors. He looks quite menacing, and he comes with some cool, unique, and menacing-looking weapons, which is awesome. Going over those weapons to begin with, he does have a shield. The shield is really nice. It's painted a nice gold. And the sculpting is really good. You got a lot of scratches and dents throughout the entire thing, which is really nice. And that's not just painted detail, that's actually sculpted detail. And it's got a nice, simple but yet good little design in it as well. And then the way that you just use this little clip right here and it just clips onto his wrist bracelets. I'm not quite sure what these... Oh, you know what? Okay, I just figured it out. It's hilarious because I was going to say I didn't know what these little clips are for, but I'm assuming, yep, okay. When I showed you the back of the packaging, I noticed that he had his weapons on his back, so you must be able to clip this in here and then clip his weapons from his shield. Cool, okay. That's really neat. I kind of explained something for myself, I guess. Well, overall, very cool. Knowing that it has those that function of holding his weapons and then this being able to store on his back is very cool. He's a big character, so to have his weapons that are a little bit small, kind of like on his back, it doesn't look great, and it just makes the weapons look like even smaller. But so I would prefer them in his hand. So I wouldn't use this on his back, but it is nice that it does have the functionality to, the capability to be able to store on its back. The other weapons, you've got this one, which is like an axe. I'm gonna call it a knife axe because it's not, the full, long handle kind of axe. It's a very short handle. The majority of it is just a blade. The blade looks sick. It's got tons of scratches and scars, and it's chipped up on the sides and everything. Looks really awesome. Do like that a lot. And the silver is painted really well. The only thing is, it's kind of bent. It was bent in package for me. I didn't buy this at a store because I've never seen him in store. I've never seen Wave 2 or 3 in store, not a single character, so I don't know if we're ever going to get them in stores. I did buy this on Hasbro.com, so it is a little bent for me. It's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of annoying. It's really not noticeable just in a pose or when he's like this or anything, but close up you can see that it's a little bent, which is a shame. His kind of like mace on this other hand is really awesome. This is my favorite accessory he comes with. It looks really cool. It's not super big or anything, just looks awesome. The spikes are very big, and they are soft plastic, but they're not, you'd expect because it's a Hasbro product, they wouldn't want the kids to get hurt, so they make these like super soft plastic, and therefore they'd all be bent and they wouldn't look right. This is a soft plastic, but it's really a hard soft plastic, so it keeps its shape, and the spikes aren't all bent or anything, so it just looks awesome. This could actually, hurt. I could see, little kid hurting his brother with this thing, I have to say. But overall, very cool. Same thing goes for on the knuckles. You've got the spikes on the knuckles, which is a great touch. And you would expect them to be very soft plastic, but they are pretty hard plastic, which is just fantastic. The figure itself is very nice. This head sculpt is rather interesting. You know, it's a very weird looking head sculpt. It's like a you know, mix between Darth Vader with some horns and just some crazy stuff. Very interesting. I do kind of like it. It looks cool. He does have a Cyclops, or not Cyclops, Colossus type of design going on in these arms, and I do believe that these arms are the exact same as Colossus, and the chest might be the same as well, because where it's kind of like outlined here is where Colossus's outfit was anyway, and he has two like holes there, so you'd expect some pegs on this thing, but there aren't any pegs, so I'm assuming the holes are there for actually Colossus's outfit. I do think the upper torso and then the arms, oh yeah, I didn't notice that. Colossus has these wrist pegs as well. So from the wrist there all the way up in both arms to the waist, I'm assuming. Yeah, from the waist is going to be 100% a reused parts from Colossus himself, which is very interesting. And then the thighs might also be reused as Colossus, but the knees might be reused too, but right here where at the bottom of the leg before it gets to the boot, that's going to be a new sculpt actually. At least I'm assuming. Actually, taking a look at it, these aren't like lines you'd expect, you know, because these are his lines, but these aren't lines. These are actually just wrinkles here, which is the same wrinkles that are on his boot. So yeah, oh my goodness, I didn't notice this. So this is, oh, and his feet are too. Wow, I didn't expect it to be this much the same as Colossus. So it is a complete retool of Colossus, all the way from the neck down. You know, the entire figure is Colossus. The only differences are it's got some new hands, it's got a new skirt piece, a new kind of cape and, you know, body piece that rests on it, a new head, and then new leg guards. So that's very interesting. So a lot of reused parts from Colossus, but there are also a lot of new parts added on top of it, which give him a totally different look. You know, this isn't a figure where you can totally tell that the parts are reused from Colossus. I thought that it was just the arms, and obviously it's quite not. So I don't mind them reusing parts because they did it really well, and they did it in a way where I have two other Colossus figures and I did not think this much of Colossus was reused in him, so I don't mind them reusing the parts in him anyway. So overall, really do like the design, and you know, with all the clothing there are a bunch of scratches and everything, which looks just fantastic. I have to say, very nice. Really do like the sculpting on this. And then the cape is really cool. This design of cape, I know I've seen it before, but it didn't have this whole, you know, shoulder pieces attached to it or anything, so this might be new. I'm not sure. And the cape doesn't go like way below his feet, so that when he's standing, he's you know, kind of tilted forward from the cape or anything like that. The cape is a nice height, as well as it can, because this piece is not attached, it can kind of rise up until his neck. It makes him look like he doesn't have a neck, of course, but you can get have it rise up if you have him standing on something that would require that, which is kind of nice. Paint-wise, really love the paint. Like I said, the silver is very bright. It's very cool. As you can see, the silver is much shinier and brighter than Colossus, which I have to say is very nice. Really do like that a lot. The blue is a wonderful metallic blue, I have to say. It's quite beautiful. Really do love that blue. The yellow is pretty pale, except for the belt where they use more of a gold rather than a yellow, and this little ring right here is a little bit more of a gold, which I like. Oh, and the mouth has that kind of gold look. Really do like that. And then there's just some red highlights everywhere. Overall, really do love this sculpt. I think it's very interesting and just a super cool, eye-catching Marvel character, I have to say. He's definitely very eccentric, but it really works for him, because there's a lot of cool, neat stuff going on. So yeah, so overall, a really nice figure. Like I said, a lot of it's reused, but it really doesn't matter because you can't tell on first glance that it's reused in the slightest. It looks like 100% new parts, and I have to say that is very nice. Of course, articulation is the same as Colossus, as you'd expect. He's got ball hinge neck, which works really well. He can look down very far, which I do like. Ball hinge shoulders, swivel bicep, hinge at the elbows. These elbow hinges, both of them, were extremely hard to move when I first got them out of the package. I really had to kind of like break them in to get them to go, but now they're okay, so you might struggle with them a tiny bit when you first get it. Swivel wrists. Unfortunately, this wrist just isn't staying into his arm as well as I'd like. I mean, it doesn't pop out. It has such a gap. Like after a while of leaving it, you'll just get this like gap, which I really find annoying. So that's definitely a shame, but that is going to be exclusive to my figure. Ball jointed upper torso, ball jointed thighs with thigh swivel, double hinge knees, no swivel at the boot, but there is a hinge and swivel at the ankle. Would have liked a pivoting ankle, of course. It would have been nice if they changed out his feet to give him that pivot. But unfortunately they didn't. Not that end of the world, but definitely something I would have liked. So yeah. Overall, would I recommend this? Now, this is going to be very personal choice. If you are a collector of this Marvel Infinite series or Marvel Universe, and you collect figures based on the character, you buy the characters that you like, most likely this is not going to be a figure for you, because I don't think many people know about this character in the slightest. I don't recognize him at all, and typically, even if I don't know about a character, I recognize them because I've seen them in comic book, pictures or something, but this guy, I don't even recognize in the slightest. So because of that, if you like to buy figures based on the character, this is not going to be one for you. If you like to buy it on the figure, this is a great one, because Colossus has a great sculpt to begin with, and they reused it, but they reused it with a ton of extra pieces, which just make him look really fantastic and just like a great figure, I have to say. So overall, a really nice figure himself, not that great of a character, but definitely an interesting design, and one that's going to pop on the shelves, or just, pop if you keep your figures in package. It's just a really cool, eye-catching figure. So there you go. So that'll be my review of the Marvel Infinite series, Marvel's Death's Head. Thank you so much for watching.